The federal government has unveiled a $220 million employment initiative, which it says is aimed at tackling youth unemployment and expanding job opportunities for young Nigerians. Now, the program, known as the Nigeria Jubilee Fellows Program 2.0, seeks to empower graduates through structured work placements, skills development, and mentorship. Vice President Kashim Shettima announced the launch on Wednesday at the presidential villa in Abuja, noted that the initiative will be implemented in collaboration with the European Union and the United Nations Development Programme as part of a broader strategy to equip young Nigerians with the tools needed to thrive in today's workforce. According to him, the program is designed to connect high potential graduates with practical work experience, training, and mentorship, equipping them with the skills needed to thrive in the job market. So the federal government also says the $220 million investment is not charity, but calls it an investment in the youth. They also say it will reach all regions, all states, through sectors like agriculture, renewable energy, digital tech, and manufacturing. But here in the Niger Delta, grappling with its own fair share of youth unemployment, infrastructure gaps, and regional exclusion, the real question that will interest Niger Deltans would be, how will this work on the ground? Join us to evaluate how the initiative can translate into real jobs for young people here in the Niger Delta region. We have Organization Development Consultant Obong Essien joins us live. Thank you very much for coming on the program, Obong Essien.
Good afternoon, Xavier.
Thank you very much.
Glad to be here.
No, thank you. Well, let's start broad. Now, the government says this initiative is designed to bridge the transition gap between learning and earning. If we could have a better understanding of this phrase, has that been the experience, learning and earning not commensurately working together?
That is what a comprehensive quality education is supposed to offer. But you see, this initiative has come maybe to complement our education system, where we have a misfit curriculum that has been running over time, that graduates come out of school and are not employable. As you've heard several times, the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, they have been complaining about the quality of graduates that we are having in Nigeria. But if an initiative like this comes up, we're also going to look at it broadly in terms of youth empowerment. And if you know the impact of youth empowerment in terms of addressing the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, then this fits in very well. It would address many aspects of the development goals. If you like hunger, any other aspect that you may be thinking about, especially the goal number 4 that talks about quality education, and goal number 8 that talks about decent job employment. This is very, very relevant. You have situations where people could go to school, have a theoretical background that they cannot really apply at the workplace. What this kind of scheme sets out to achieve is that you have graduates coming out to be structurally fit into workplaces, that is, as would be sponsored by this program. So you have a standard work organization, engage them in the standard work organization. So while they are learning, they are having mentorship, they are developing their skill, they are having other forms of interaction that will really give them the real workplace experience, especially the softer skills like teamwork and communication skill that is really, really needed in the workplace. So by the time they get this, they can fit into any other workplace. You hear people complaining that they go for job interviews and they are asking them for years of experience. So this offers an opportunity for you to gain experience while you are still studying, while you are not yet employed. So with this kind of exposure, it may take a long time that you are exposed to this kind of environment of work. Then by the time you can shift from that workplace to another workplace. And in this kind of scheme, that is going to be industry specific. So if you get young people involved in an area of agriculture or even in the health, you have given them the theoretical background and they go into a hospital environment to work, then they would have garnered so much experience during their work exposure. This has always been what it should be, because I remember while we were in school, you had opportunity of going out for practical productivity experience. That offered you opportunity to join organizations and work in those organizations and really see the value of work. But these days, you see, you have so many thousands of people in school and so few workplaces that you hardly would have this kind of exposure anymore in the country. So, but if the interventionist organizations like European Union and United Nations Development initiatives can come up with this kind of a thing, supported by the federal government. The federal government, of course, you would know, have also been trying to empower the youth through this Empower program. Even this NYC vocational skill acquisition is something similar. So you go for your NYC and you are exposed to some vocational skill that gives you the knowledge, the exposure to be able to acquire a skill and see how you can apply whatever skill you have garnered in some other workplace that you may find to yourself.
All right, Obong, Essien, I don't know if you've experienced it, but I have, getting to meet a colleague, somebody who was in the same class as me back in the day when we were in school. And then you remember how bright this person was and you graduated together. But then it's as if the person is still not, finding their footing. And you begin to wonder what happened to this bright student. This particular initiative by the federal government seems to want to address that because there's a part that says it is targeting high potential graduates who have high potentials, like the persons that we have experienced who were really bright in school, but then came out, they didn't have jobs, they couldn't get themselves skills that could get them gainfully employed and all of that. These are all the situations that we see play out in the country currently. Do you think that it would be effective enough for this to be addressed? Can this initiative address? I mean, $220 million, it's quite not a small sum. How can it be implemented?
When you take $220 million to the population that you really want to address,
$220 million.
It does not be nothing
well
compared to the population. But addressing your question regarding, you see, you've already identified a gap from the time this person completed the formal education in school, and maybe there is a gap, he stays unemployed, or he is not working in a relevant field. Then when you stop learning, you stop growing. It's a fact that learning is continuous. Learning is a continuous process. One of the key things that you would also observe is that this is going to give, as much as the people garner competence, they also give them the self-esteem to be able to fit in properly into the social systems. So if you are not studying, you are not working, you stay redundant for a very long period of time, it affects your sight.
Is that not as a result of a discouragement, as a result of the system not working? People could fall into depression and not know what to do with their time and life.
Certainly, that's why I talked about this scheme as addressing very broad areas as may be addressed by the Sustainable Development Goals. That even though this talks about quality education, this talks about decent jobs, but of course it has multiplier effects on addressing hunger as well, on addressing other aspects of social integration as well. Because if you don't have the confidence to live in the society the way you would feel fulfilled, then there is a problem. And that's where you would talk about those mental health issues that may arise as a result of you sitting down idle and not using your brain effectively to do what you needed to do. Just considering also the ultimate goal of the economic growth that you would have achieved. If you do not have the kind of environment that supports your knowledge, then you remain idle for such a long time. Your mental health, there may be, resultant effect of your mental health being affected.
Yeah. Well, Obong, let's bring this back home now in the Niger Delta. You think that there are roles that government and institutions, and even the youths themselves, can play towards ensuring that this initiative is indeed localized? How can young people in the region tap into this initiative? And what roles do you think the government also has to play towards ensuring that initiatives of this nature are localized as much as possible, targeting as many youths as possible, cutting them from the streets and giving them that hope that they truly need?
The basic thing is creating the awareness, but you see, you also mentioned something about high potential. When you are looking at, you have few resources to meet up with the volume. Like when I talked about this, I talked about the kind of population that $220 million is going to address. It's when you know what it entails, then you see that is nothing
compared to the
volume
humongous situation
that we are having. Because if you see, the problem we are having in Nigeria is quite enormous. If you look at it broadly, you'll see that these Boko Haram issues, these insecurity issues, traveling is part of education. And where people are just fixed and they are not making use of the skills that they have, then you are wasting it. So when you talk about high potential graduates, you are talking about those kind of graduates that you described as very intelligent while they were in school. And when you invest in such, then you are going to get a better output. So if this little resources comes in to address this problem that we are having in the country presently, then you know that we need to, go for the high potential graduates. Talking about taking people off the streets, they are there in the streets. People, very intelligent people, you can identify them by the kind of results that they came out from school with. You can identify them by simply administering aptitude tests on them to be able to assess their aptitude. You could also use psychometric tests to identify them. That's on the government part. But on the youth part, how more do you advise people than to be aware, keep listening to news, know what is going on in your own environment, and see how you can tap into it. And relatives too can assist by, passing information to the people that need this information. Even the political office holders, know your locality. Some of them have a logbook already regarding unemployed people in their locality that they can tap into and see how they can prune down the numbers to what may be required and eligible for this scheme.
Obong Essien, Organization Development Consultant. I wish we had more time to delve into this issue, but thank you very much for your time on the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Xavier.
All right, so that's the size of Niger Delta today. Thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you again tomorrow for another fresh edition of the program. My name is Xavier Roberts, wishing you a terrific Thursday. Bye.